Hey everyone, it's Ryan here from Ratings.com, and today we'll be testing the highly anticipated and much requested TCL 6 Series 2019, also known as the R625. It is a budget-friendly 4K LED TV that tries to play with the heavy hitters from higher-end companies such as Samsung and Sony. We'll also compare it to the other TVs in its price range to see if it's the best buy for you. We have the 65-inch version here, but it is also available in a 55-inch. We expect the smaller size to have very similar picture quality with slightly less local dimming zones, which shouldn't affect picture quality by any significant margin. The R625 is an updated 6 Series TV for 2019 from TCL that adds quantum dot technology. It also has a revised design and picture quality has improved slightly. After looking more into those, we'll look at the motion handling, input lag, and sound, and then compare to other competing models which are currently available. If you'd like to skip straight to our test results, click the links in the description below. The design of the 6 Series 2019 is great. It's definitely an improvement over last year's 6 Series. The bezels have been reduced on 3 sides, and the circle power button has moved to the back, so the front gives a clean look. The feet are sturdier and really help the TV be planted and not wobble. The feet are very wide apart, which is great if you want to fit a soundbar in between them, but it means you'll need an entertainment cabinet that is as wide as the TV so that it fits on top. Otherwise, you'll need to wall mount the TV, which isn't a bad thing because the TV is relatively thin, as you see here. But it's still thicker than most other competing models. The back of the TV has received an updated glass-like plastic aesthetic that looks more premium than last year's. Unfortunately, there is no cable management on this set, so zip ties might be necessary to clean up the wires. The single power button I mentioned just a moment ago is now behind the TV on the right-hand side and can only change the inputs and power the TV on and off. Using the remote will be the only way to properly use this TV, but the good thing is the remote is responsive and easy to use. We'll get into that a little later on. As we look at the front of the display again, we'll look at it with our thermal camera. Since this TV utilizes a full-array local dimming backlight, the LEDs are evenly distributed across the entire screen. It runs slightly warmer than last year's R617, but it's noticeably cooler than the Hisense H9F. We'll be comparing the R625 to other TVs currently available, but competing models can change as new TVs are released throughout the year. To stay up to date with the comparisons as we buy and test new models, check out the review page on our website, linked in the description below. The contrast ratio is one of the most important factors for good picture quality. It is the ratio between the measured bright and dark areas of a scene. This means a TV with a good contrast ratio has details in bright and dark areas of the scene and good black levels. VA-type panels usually have good contrast levels, and the 6 Series 2019 performs excellently. The local dimming implementation on the 6 Series 2019 helps it achieve an almost twice as good contrast ratio from its native contrast, and is an improvement over last year's R617. The Vizio M-Series Quantum 2019 and the Hisense H9F perform a little better than the 6 Series 2019 in terms of native contrast, but the contrast is very similar between the three when local dimming is enabled. This is great because it means black levels are very black and the TV can still achieve high brightness levels. Speaking of local dimming, this is also another thing that was improved since last year's R617. All 4 TVs here are able to brighten, dim, and turn off different parts of the backlight dynamically to improve picture quality. However, each TV handles local dimming a little differently. Some TVs prefer to raise the average black level to present all details, and some do the opposite and crush out small details in favor of better black levels and better blooming handling. The TCL 6 Series 2019 handles subtitles very well and doesn't present too much blooming when viewing the screen head-on, which is great. This does mean some details are slightly crushed and fast-moving objects are dimmed, but it still does an impressive job limiting these problems. The local dimming of the R625 is a definite improvement over last year's 6 Series and is better than the Hisense H9F, performing very similarly to the Vizio M-Series Quantum 2019. Black uniformity is an important aspect of picture quality. Good black uniformity means the dark scenes will be properly displayed without distracting clouding coming from the backlight. Without local dimming enabled, the 6 Series 2019 is excellent and black uniformity only gets better with local dimming enabled. It outperforms last year's TCL 6 Series and the H9F, and is very similar to the Vizio M-Series Quantum 2019. Another category local dimming helps with is brightness. The SDR brightness of the TCL 6 Series 2019 is great. The TV can get plenty bright to offset glare, and it gets about 570 nits in real scenes. Last year's R617 got brighter than the R625. Despite this small step down in brightness, it still performs similar to the Hisense H9F and is much better than the Vizio M-Series Quantum 2019. HDR peak brightness is a similar story. First of all, the TCL 6 Series 2019 supports Dolby Vision, HDR10, and HLG HDR formats, just like the Hisense and the Vizio. HDR brightness is important for different reasons than the SDR brightness. The higher dynamic range allows for more detail in the bright and dark areas of the scene and is important for delivering impactful and detailed bright highlights. The 6 Series 2019 gets bright enough for HDR content to pop, but isn't as impressive as last year's R617 or the Hisense H9F in real scenes. It is, however, much better than the Vizio M Series Quantum 2019 and will still be good enough for most people. Let's move on to the gray uniformity. Our gray uniformity test checks for any uniformity issues with the panel where different pixels are all supposed to display the same color but may not. This is done by taking a picture of a 50% gray pattern on each TV. Cloudy spots and other issues present on this slide are known as the dirty screen effect, which are problematic when playing games or watching sports, which often tend to display uniform colors across the screen. The TCL 6 Series 2019 has decent uniformity, with distracting DSC and noticeable dark edges around the display. This is one aspect of the panel that can vary between units, so yours might perform differently. If you come across a panel that doesn't correspond to our results, let us know in the comments below. Next, we'll look at the viewing angles. If you don't watch from directly in front of the screen, it's still important that the image remains accurate when viewed at an angle. In the case of the 6 Series 2019, and in fact all the TVs here with a VA-type panel, the viewing angles are poor. VA panels can't normally deliver good viewing angles. TVs like the LG SM9000 with IPS panels would be better options if viewing angles are the most important to you. Nonetheless, the TCL 6 Series 2019 has similar viewing angles to the M Series Quantum 2019, which are some of the better results for VA TVs. The 6 Series 2019 has seemingly taken a step backwards in terms of reflection handling. We measure the amount of light reflected off of the screen both directly and indirectly using a light sphere and a Konica Minolta luminance meter. The TCL 6 Series reflects more light than last year's 6 Series and any of these other models. If you watch TV in an average to bright lit room, the TCL will be a little disappointing. The brightness of the display should counteract glare a bit, but for bright rooms, the H9F will be a better choice. The addition of the quantum dot backlight has made a significant improvement to the 6 Series' color gamut and color volume. A wide color gamut is important for producing vivid color in HDR content. The DCI P3 color space, which is used by most commercial Blu-rays, is almost completely filled, and there is a big improvement in the coverage of the Rec 2020 color space. This puts it in the same high-performing category as some of the more expensive sets from Sony, LG, and Samsung, as well as the Vizios, including the M Series Quantum 2019, which also added the quantum dot backlight this year. The color volume is good too, producing more saturated shades of color than last year's model at different brightness levels. Now, this next part is becoming increasingly important, but is a little complicated. We measure the electro-optical transfer function of each HDR TV. This is how a TV receives the HDR signal and translates it to a specific brightness. And this graph shows if the TV can follow the reference standard that content is mastered at. The reference curve is the yellow line you see here. The reference line is unachievable by any TV at the moment, so every TV has a way to tone map the signal to the display's capabilities, and that is the gray line you see here. The R625 doesn't follow as accurately as last year's R617, but still does a better job than the Hisense H9F. The Vizio is good, but doesn't have the peak brightness to compete with these other two. If you care about watching a movie as accurately as the director intended, the TCL 6 Series 2018 is probably still the better bet for you, as it handles the EOTF very well. Otherwise, the 6 Series 2019 is still a good choice. Let's move on to the motion handling of the R625. First, we'll start with the response time, which is the time it takes for a single pixel to change color. The TCL R625 has a good response time, but some darker scenes will have very long transitions, causing visible ghosting. The TCL 6 Series 2019 also has a constant backlight flicker of 960 Hz, which on this TV results in noticeable duplications and artifacts in some content, and it can't be disabled. You can see the duplications in the motion blur photo here. If you want to clear up the persistence blur, you can enable the LED motion clarity option, which is the black frame insertion feature. This lowers the flicker to 60 Hz, which can be bothersome for some people, but it clears up motion considerably. Unfortunately, there are still some visible duplications. Next, we'll look at the input lag, which is especially important for gamers. It's important because input lag is the time it takes for an action in-game to appear on the screen. High input lag can cause mistiming of key moments and can be incredibly distracting. The 6 Series 2019 has amazing low input lag. It has an input lag in 1080p, 1440p, and 4K games around 11 milliseconds and is 13 milliseconds in 4K HDR games. The TCL 6 Series 2019 accepts 120 Hz signals, but is a 60 Hz TV, so it can't display 120 Hz content properly, as it skips every other frame. Alright, moving on to the smart features. The 6 Series 2019 uses the Roku Smart Platform, which is great. It is easy to use and has a wide range of apps to choose from. Unfortunately, there are large ads on the home screen which cannot be disabled. The remote also features a voice command feature, so some settings and functions can be controlled with your voice, such as opening YouTube or checking the time. There are also 4 dedicated app buttons that help you jump straight into an app, but they are not reprogrammable. The speakers that come integrated in the 6 Series 2019 are okay. They are a definite improvement over last year's R617 thanks to the lower low-frequency extension, as well as the slightly higher max volume. It also features Dolby Atmos decoding, but you will not get the true effect of Atmos through the 2 tiny speakers. If you want better sound for movies, dialogue, or to get a true Atmos soundstage, discrete home theater speakers or soundbars, which we now review on our website, are recommended. So overall, the TCL 6 Series is a good 4K HDR TV with awesome picture quality. It is a small step up over last year's R617, sporting an improved design. In terms of picture quality, it has an improved local dimming feature and better black uniformity, making it the better darkroom performer. Unfortunately, for those of you in a bright room, it has worse reflection handling and doesn't get as bright as the R617, so it might not be the best choice for you. If we compare the Hisense H9F to the TCL R625, they are similar in many ways but do differ slightly. The Hisense has a 120 Hz panel and can interpolate motion up to 120 frames per second. The TCL is limited to 60 frames per second because of its 60 Hz panel. The Hisense also handles motion better, having a better response time and less distracting duplications. Both TVs are great for gamers because of their low input lag, but those of you in brighter rooms will prefer the Hisense H9F because of its better reflection handling. Last but not least, compared to the Vizio M Series Quantum 2019, they both perform very similarly besides one key aspect: brightness. The TCL R625 is noticeably brighter in both SDR and HDR content. If brightness isn't important to you, they both have similar local dimming performance, uniformity, color gamut, and color volume. The TCL R625 will be a slightly better TV for most people because of the similar performance and better smart system, and gamers will appreciate its excellent low input lag. If you only care about watching movies, both will be great sets, so pick up whichever you can find for the lowest price. So that's all for the 2019 TCL 6 Series. What do you think of it? Do you feel it has lived up to the hype? Leave us a comment down below to let us know what you think. You can check out all of the measurements for all of these TVs on our website. If you want access to our latest test results before they are officially published, become an insider on the website. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be alerted for all our new videos. Now, one last thing I promise. We're currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions. So, if you want to help people find the best product for their needs, have a look at the careers page on our website. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.